What's up, YouTube? First and foremost, shout out to all my subscribers. Keep running up those likes. Please drop a comment. Alien Army standing up, raise up, let's get down like James Brown, turn around and throw some comments. Nonetheless, of course, it does push out my content. You guys already know that it helps out in the algorithm. So hit the likes, throw comments. If this is the first time you're here or you're rocking with Alien Army, throw some comments down. Hi, wave, alien. You type alien, put emojis, put a waving, put a thumbs up, put a high five. I do respond to 99.9% of my comments, so that's really, really dope. So rock with me. I'm a small channel. I actually, when I get bigger, I'm already in the steps of development of always being able to answer people's comments, and I do plan on going live in just a couple more days. I just had to wait for those limitations to go away. If you can, please run up those watch time hours if you're subscribed to me, or if you like this content, watch my other videos, and of course subscribe. I'm gonna jump straight into this video though. Real quick, this is the first time you watching one of my videos. I am homeless. I do live in my car. I do have videos explaining that. Not even just videos. I have an exact video called "Full Story of Me Being Homeless," I believe, or "Homeless Full Story." So, if you like this content, check my other stuff out. But I do want to jump in this and shout out to my donations. It's been a few days since I got a donation, but it doesn't matter whether it's a whole lot or it's a little bit at a time. Anything and everything is appreciated. And my Cash App is the same as my YouTube name, AlienAscend. I do put that link in the description. Now let's jump into this video. So this is My Toxic Dad is what I think I'm gonna name this. I might switch it up a little bit, like homeless, my toxic dad, but I want to jump into that. I want to start with my earliest memory. This earliest memory is not exaggerated. I mean, I don't exaggerate my stories anyways. If anything, I try to downplay stuff. I have to work within the parameters of this platform. So I can't, just talk freely. I do my best of my abilities, and I'm cunning and canny the way I do it. You know what I'm saying? But, rock with me on this. So my earliest memory is actually before I was even born. There have been, I didn't know this at the time, that, but, stay with me here. Actually, you guys are going to think I'm crazy when I tell you this, because it does sound crazy. However, there are stories that people have said the same, similar stuff, but I didn't know it at the time. Like, I remember when I was born and I could talk. Like, this is something I've been saying since I was like 3 years old, or whatever the age I was able to talk. I remember talking about my earliest memory. My earliest memory is before I was even born. So that's where I want to start this off. I actually remember being in what I consider heaven. And it was white. I'm going to be very descriptive on everything too, because I remember like it just happened, a moment ago. It's something that's never left the forefront of my mind. So picture beautiful clouds and white, like just very white and very calm. And I remember sitting there, and I had like a point of view type of vision going on, where I could look around but barely see myself. And if I was to look at myself, I would see myself as like a 5-year-old or 6-year-old kid, but I'm not even born yet. And that God is next to me, and where I'm sitting at, He's right next to me, and He's on my right hand side. And when He's on my right hand side, what He looks like is kind of like a silhouette of a white mountain. And He doesn't talk English like. He doesn't talk like, it's not telepathic. It's not like English. It's kind of like feelings I get. And He's able to convey things to me. And when He's conveying things to me, it's like, it was very, very abundant and very clear that you're here and you're going to pick out who your mother's going to be. And that's exactly that's exactly what happened. So I'm sitting there, and these big old bubbles are coming up. And these are beautiful looking bubbles, and inside each bubble is like kind of like an animated picture of who your mom could be, right? And when you look at it, of course, and I'm going to talk just exactly how I felt and like how I saw things. So in each one of these bubbles, I can see everything that's ever happened to the woman that I'm being shown. Exactly where her heart lands, what kind of person she looks like, of course, what she looks like, what kind of person she is, everything that she has gone through in her life, and what things might be in the future. and whatnot, right? And I remember, like, here comes a bubble. No, that's not my mom. Here comes another bubble. No, that's not my mom. And it wasn't something like a big old long process of hours and hours. Maybe that's what happened, but that's not how I remember it. Like around the fourth or fifth bubble that came up was my mother, and I still remember what she looked like. My mom was she just looked like beautiful warmth, and she had this perm, like, back when I was born. My mom rocked a perm. She had this perm, curly kind of hair. She looked very, very beautiful. I saw like what she looked like, how she, like, when I say beautiful, I'm not talking about, like, she was beautiful like a model. It's beautiful in a very loving way. Like, you would be like, that's somebody I would love to be related to. Like, I see what this person has gone through. I see where the heart was like pure. Now, did I think that her heart was pure? I just thought, that's who I love, and that's who I want my mom to be. And I did see what happened to her in the past, what was going through the present, and what I could expect possibly in the future. That's what it looked like. But this bubble, and I remember pointing at the bubble, like, that's her, that's my mom. So that's like one of the earliest memories I've ever had was, and I remember, like, when I first could talk, that's exactly what the first thing I ever said was. I did find out later, like, I don't know, maybe like 10 years ago, that a lot of people actually talk about them having the same experience. But how do you can convincingly tell somebody, I have a memory before I was born, and you can't prove it? Well, okay, if you can't prove it, and you had this memory before you were born, you're crazy. You know what I'm saying? And just let you know, it is cold out. However, I've been running my car for a while, and I feel like I need to air myself out. I know I've been coughing quite a bit, and I felt like all my extra layers of clothing, and definitely my hoodie has been choking me up a little bit. So I took all that stuff off. I am warm in my car. Tonight's not as cold as last night. It is still cold, but moving forward, it looks like it's going to be a lot better. And what I mean by a lot better, like between 25 and 30 degrees. Between those temperatures inside my car with running it, and then also on top of my sleeping bags and the stuff that I have, I keep myself quite warm, and I'm okay. I don't really like sleeping in my driver's spot. I'm probably gonna have to sleep in it tonight. I think tonight, just to give you an idea, it's gonna go down to 6 degrees. It's not 6 degrees right now. It's actually 20 degrees. But I want to air myself out, So that's my earliest memory. And before I was, so I want to talk about me being born, and then of course I'm going to jump into my toxic dad. And I don't call him dad. I in videos I've ever talked about him, I've always called him my mother's husband. Like, he don't get no respect from me, at all. Calling him my dad, calling him my father, no, not in the slightest. He's my mom's husband. Technically, I am born from him, as far as I understand. I would love to find out that I was never related to him, but unfortunately, from what I've been told, no, I am. Where was I at? Okay, so that's the earliest memory. So before I was even born, my mom was told that she was not able to have children anymore. I mean, she was in a very bad accident, a car accident that my grandfather passed away in, and I never got to meet my grandfather. In fact, in the vehicle, it was, as far as I understand, it was my grandmother, my grandfather, my mom, and that's basically about it. My mom got hurt really bad, like the top of her head, just, from the car accident, the roof caving in, like basically tomahawked the top of her head. It was able to heal itself and fix itself, and this is years later, that I was born. So I mean, she still has a scar though, like it was like on her forehead going back. So she was told, and broke her hip, broke all sorts of bones, right? My grandfather, and it was a drunk driver that hit my grandfather while he was driving, and it was on a two-way highway. Hold on, you hear those Jake brakes? Yeah, I'm at my truck stop. But it was a two-way highway, and with oncoming traffic, and then oncoming cars, and then the other cars are going this way. So just trying to explain it to you guys. Cars are going this way. Some cars are going this way. This guy's a drunk driver, and he passes out, and he goes he's going towards the light, which are the headlights to my grandfather driving his car, and then boom, crashes into that. He dies instantly. I wish I would have met my grandfather. You know, from everything I was told, my grandmother loved him so much she never remarried. You know, he could walk on his hands. He was really big on physical education, PE. He didn't care if you messed up on all your grades, but if you passed PE, you were good. You know, like I said, he could walk on his hands. He was really, really funny. He was tall. He was lengthy. You know, he was like, you know, over 6'3". You know, and back then that was pretty tall. You know, so nonetheless, my mom was told that she could never have children again. Surprise! Here comes AlienAscend, little baby aliens coming at you. You know what I mean? So, my mom gets pregnant. My mom gets pregnant. She's making Hawaiian burgers, and when she's making Hawaiian burgers outside, her water is. This is all what's told to me from my own mom. She was making Hawaiian burgers. The Hawaiian burgers were being cooked on a grill outside, being barbecued, and then she was going to put some basically. What is it called? Pineapples on it. So basically a pineapple burger, but they were calling it Hawaiian burgers, right? She was making that, and she felt real ill. Like I'm laughing because like my ass is about to be born, and I'm getting sick already. It's funny, but yeah, she's cooking that stuff, and she feels ill. She can't even eat. I think she said that she took one bite of the hamburger and it came right up. Now baby alien's about to be born, son. You know, baby alien is about to ascend in full force in this humanity. This sounds funny to me, but yeah, nonetheless, that's exactly what happens. She gets sick. She takes a bite of the burger. She gets sick, and boom, her water busts, and it's a bad one from what I was told. Like, you know, it was like immediately, let's go to the hospital. I'm contracted. This alien baby named AlienAscend is fitting to pop out. You know what I'm saying? And I know I'm making a little bit of jokes, but I'm gonna be serious. You know, that's on the entertainment side. I'm gonna be serious. No, she took a bite of the Hawaiian burger, which was basically at that time, from my mom, what she told me was regular hamburgers, but she was grilling some pineapples on the barbecue as well, and then throwing them in there, and you know, that's what they were going to eat, and that she was starving for that. In fact, anytime around my birthday, she always wants a Hawaiian burger. You know what I mean? Like, but nowadays, what she wants is the Hawaiian burger to actually like be like kind of like teriyaki, and then of course pineapple on top of it, and so, nonetheless, that happens. Her water busts, and they go to the hospital. And then I was born, and small. Like I wish I knew the weight. I'd have to call my mom to ask, or I'd have to look on my birth certificate. My birth certificate I don't keep inside my vehicle. I have it at a friend's house with a few of my other items. I have clothes over there too. I have my summertime clothes there. My wintertime clothes are now in my vehicle, and they've been like that for the last couple of months, as far as I understand. Well, as far as I can remember, and yeah, not even as far as I can remember. Yeah, it's been cold here. You know what I mean? So that's what happened. And I was born, so like I want to talk about everything. So some of the stuff is a little bit embarrassing. My mom, I'm the youngest of my family. My mom, I got a brother who's older than me. Then I got a sister who's older than me, and then I got an older brother. Each person that she gave birth to, I'm saying each person. So each time she gives birth, there was a certain smell. So like, my sister smelled like strawberries. My brother smelled like chocolate. Want to guess what I smell like? I smell like dog crap. Flat out nasty dog crap, and that's what my mom told me. But my mom wasn't even supposed to have any more children from her breaking her hip. I think she broke her pelvis bone too, or like there was multitudes of things going on. But then also having that many children back then, you couldn't have a whole lot. So like, you know, they were worried about that stuff, and they were saying it was basically, and even basically, she couldn't have any more children, and out came me. So out comes AlienAscend. When I get born. You know, there's not much going on. I don't really remember. You know, I talked about what I did remember, which was before I was even born. So now we're going to talk about my toxic dad. I found out, so I'm going to jump ahead, but then I'm going to jump back down, so please follow along with me. I found out the day after my 18th birthday that the way that I was conceived was forced. My mom was forced to do that, and not forced to have a baby. To Does that mess with me? Absolutely. How does it mess with me? I don't like the idea of anybody ever being hurt or held down. I don't like the idea of somebody being forced. It does bother the hell out of me. But I remember growing up, like not even growing up, like I'm like 5 or 6 years old. I remember seeing that happen to my mom. And you got to remember that I have to go through the correspondence of this platform. I can't be too I can't talk into detail, unfortunately, as much as I want to. But yeah, I remember if you watch my traumatic childhood video, there's a lot of stuff that like that video never gets pushed out. Doesn't have very many views. It only has views because I talk about it. You might want to check that out and then understand some stuff. But I'm going to be smarter because that was like the third long form video I ever put on YouTube. This one I'm going to be totally different. I'm going to watch what I say, and I'm going to try to help you go get along without breaking the construct, so to speak. So even being that young, I remember my mom being forced. I remember the screams. I remember the brutality. I remember just how vicious and mean and how nasty he was. He was the meanest person on this earth that I've ever met or ever even knew. No heart whatsoever. He liked for you to beg for mercy, and he'd make you beg for mercy and still not give it to you. But the fact that he controlled that he controlled the fact that he hurt you so bad that you were willing to break character and beg and break your pride, break your ego, and he'd break you, and I just never let him break me, to my best of my abilities. Like, I never cried. He'd be like, if you cry, I'll stop. No. And he was hurting my mom really bad. And if you watch my traumatic childhood, I talk about something very sensitive, why I'm still single and why I'll be single the rest of my life. Things downstairs don't work. I was punched, I was hit, cigarettes, being used as an ashtray down there. I have little to no feeling. It's always been like that. I don't even know what it feels like. I'm just being honest. Yeah, to a lot of people, they'd be very embarrassed about that. But you know what? I'm not, because I didn't do that, and I never expected. Like this is what was happened to done to me as a kid. But I started thinking about it a little bit, and I remember this one particular night. I'm like 5 years old, and he got my mom bad, and he took advantage of her. You know what I'm saying? And it's hard for me to talk about because it makes my blood boil. If he wasn't dead, I wish that he was in front of me. So he does that to my mother, and there was spaghetti sauce that was being cooked, and I went and grabbed that. It's not like a movie. Like, I was able to grab some really hot boiling sauce and throw it on him. No, I knocked it halfway over, and I'm grabbing towels, and at this point there's only a good like 10% of the sauce. The rest is on there, and there's a difference between temperatures of like boiling hot water and, let's say for example, boiling oil or boiling tomato sauce. Tomato sauce is like, let's say for example, boiling water boils at 200 degrees, and let's say that tomato sauce boils at 200 degrees as well. If that tomato sauce was to hit your skin, it is going to leave more of a devastation, more of an injury. It will peel your skin back way more than boiling water. Both are going to be very traumatic. Nonetheless, you don't want to get hit with either one of them. But I took what was remaining into that stock pot, and it wasn't that huge, but I'm just a kid. I grabbed it right off the stove, and I threw it at him, and a good majority of it hit him right there. And that stopped it. That stopped it moving forward. Now, can I tell you the level? Like, I can't. Back then, I can't even comprehend. Like, let's say for example, if I hit somebody in the, like, let's say somebody got stitches, I couldn't tell you, oh, that was exactly 13 and a half stitches. No, this is a very long time ago. I wasn't told. I just know that I threw that on there, and when I threw it on there, because I ran in that room, my mom was screaming and crying, and out came him. And just took it chucked it right at him, and I did some other stuff to him. You know, if you watch my video, but I did that, and I guess that his retaliation. Like, I don't want to speak too much about my brothers and my sister, right? You know, like, they're free to talk about their stuff if they like. Most likely, I don't think they would. And they of course, they know my YouTube, and you know, I told them, you know, I have no idea what their YouTube name is, but yeah, they follow along. That I had a brother, my oldest brother. What he liked to do was knock his teeth out. He liked to knock his front teeth out, and he did it several times. It all happened from a jelly jar. Yeah, you know, my oldest brother brought home a jelly jar and some peanut butter and a loaf of bread, and that's all we could afford, and the jelly jar broke. He took my brother and by the back of his head, straight into the concrete, knocked his teeth out, and from there he did that. So there were certain special things he liked, and I don't even call it special, certain cruel and unusual things he did to certain people. And with me, I mean, I got it everywhere, but what he wanted to do was ruin me down there, and he did. You know, I have little to no feeling. It's costing me 2 relationships, and then it cost me 2 relationships. 2 times I actually explained to a woman that, you know, there's certain things, you know, like there's stuff with intimacy, right? That this doesn't work. It's never worked. I don't even know what work means. You're talking to somebody who's, I might as well have the mind of a child and tell you that nothing happens. Okay, nothing. No feeling, no nothing. I mean, I feel the sensation of when I have to use the bathroom, and that's about it. You know, if you watch the movie Joker, the one with the latest one, you know, he does a scene where things happen with his mom, and you know, like a razor blade. I mean, things like that was happening to me as well, and it's very unfortunate. That's why I stand up so hard for, you know, anybody that tries to violate, you know, anybody, you know what I'm saying? Like, especially stuff like that, anything with kids and women, I'm all over it, because it happened to me, you know. There is no circle of, you know, like letting the circle continue. There is no circle. It stopped, you know, it might have happened with me, it ends with me, and anybody around me that anything like that happens, I'm liable to snap off. And not even liable, I don't want it, I don't like it, I don't condone it, I hate it. I wish it never happened to me. When people talk about, you know, in your life, do you have any regrets? I got plenty of them. I wish he was never my father. I wish I had no father than that. You know, I got a really big heart that's filled with a lot of love, and I would love to know what it feels like on certain stuff. I would love to have a partner in crime and somebody I'm married to. I'm broken. I'm broken down there at the very least. Nobody will ever expect, you know, want anything from me. I'm not like that. You know, and it's okay. It's okay, because I'm not the one who did it to myself. You know, all this happened for a reason, I suppose. You know, I guess God never gives you more than you can handle, and that's where it lands with me. I mean, how else can I cope, right? You know, so it was very, very toxic. He, you know, I did that to him, and I guess in return, this is what he did to me. But on top of all that stuff, moving forward, I was always hurt. He was in Vietnam. How he met my mother was my uncle. Before he was even my uncle, my mom has 2 sisters. My mom is a middle child. She's got an older sister and a younger sister. Her oldest sister, which is my oldest aunt, had a date coming over, and that was my uncle. You know, like, I call him my uncle because, you know, they ended up marrying and everything else. But at the time, they weren't married or anything like that. You know, this is their first date. He brought over a friend for my aunts, you know, for my mom. You know, like, you know, hey, I got a date. Oh, he's bringing a friend. Maybe you'll like him, you know, and then boom. And that's how they met. And it wasn't much longer. You know, like, I think they went on one date that night, and, you know, like, that quote unquote courting somebody, showing up to the house, saying hi to my grandma and stuff like that. And then boom, he, Vietnam time, right? He gets drafted, and so does my uncle. My uncle's a draft dodger. I'm not too sure. That's what my mom told me. He was able to dodge it, but he did get drafted. I don't know if he enrolled in you know, college. I don't know if he left the country. I don't know if he you know, he is Mormon. My uncle's Mormon. Maybe the Mormon religion did something like that. I just know that he was able to be, you know, everybody looks at him as a draft dodger. He was supposed to go to Vietnam, and he never did. You know, but it did save him. Maybe he didn't get PTSD from it. Maybe he didn't fight a war that he didn't feel like he needed to, you know. I know that back then a lot of people really looked at everything like, hey, if you dodge that, you're un-American. I don't know how I feel about it, but I know that back then, you know, and from my mom tells me, it's very, very severe. It's, you know, you were looked at as a coward, so that's what they thought. He went to Vietnam, and when he came back, of course, that's when, you know, I guess, you know, we moved to Vietnam. My mom had, you know, her firstborn, and then, like, the times and the dates are messed up because I've never sat there and asked my mom, tell me about this time, tell me about this date. I'm just going off of the stories of, you know, when she told me certain stuff, and you know what I mean. So then, you know, after the whole Vietnam stuff, and you know, I guess that's when I was born, because he didn't get deployed again or anything like that. He had a military buddy. I don't know what nickname I'd give him, but it was his only one. And he told my mom stories, and this is just another thing my mom told me, was when he was over there, everybody was mean to children. So just follow me. Everybody was mean to children in Vietnam. Friendly fire wasn't always friendly fire. And there was a lot of stuff that happened with women. Evidently, he overindulged in that stuff. So he was kind of like somebody who already had those feelings, went to Vietnam, and then went ahead and was able to act on it. And because a lot of those people were animals, man, you know, they were animals, and you know, if it was war, they could do stuff like that. So that's make of it what you will. I don't know what I make of it. I just know that, you know what, I don't think Vietnam made him be the person who did all this stuff. I think he was always the person, and then things got more, you know, I guess, you know, more extra on it. Like, oh, because he did this, now when he comes back, he's going to do this. You know what I'm saying? So the abuse continued till I was about 12 years old, and there was a lot of stuff that's in between all that. I do have that in that video, traumatic childhood, and you gotta be careful about stuff, but I was tied up for nearly a year. It hurt really, really bad. You know, the screaming, the yelling, the physical, all of it added up. And when I'm talking about physical, I mean, these are grown men. Grown men should not touch anybody like this. Like, I just, you know, and I work in the confines of this, so if you want more of the details and stuff like that, and I would love to share it. This isn't something that's easy for me to talk about. However, I do feel better when I do, and it's not something I'm ashamed of anymore. Like, you know, it was never my fault any of this happened. You know, even if it was my fault, you know, who takes it to that level? This is, you know, I'm more, you know, forget how I feel about stuff, but like, you know, me talking about it, because when I do, it's I relive this stuff, man. I don't say this stuff out of glory, and I'm not out here playing myself as a victim. You know, I'm not, you know, saying, oh, poor me. I want to share my story, and I want to talk about it because I believe that other people could have went through this or something similar. And more than me just believe that, I see it in my comment section, me saying that I inspire people. People can relate to my stories, or you know what, maybe they didn't have it so bad. Maybe hearing how bad I had it makes them help appreciate certain stuff, or maybe they had it worse. And if they had it worse, you know, they can relate to what I've gone through. However the dice roll on it, you know, I want to help people, and that is the bigger message, excuse me. But bigger message is helping people, and I want to share it. So I want to help myself a little bit by getting it out. And then on top of all that stuff, if people can relate or people can understand, and I believe that everybody can, and at the very least, if they hear a story like this, at least it's entertaining, and they can say, thank God it never happened to me. Because there is cruel and wicked and evil people out here, you know. They've been here from the beginning, and they're going to probably be here till nearly the end. You know what I'm saying? And everybody's got a story. You know, if I had a story where I was in private school my whole life and I learned a whole lot, I'd be talking about that. Maybe I'd be in front of a Lamborghini Huracan, you know, trying to sell you a course and shake somebody down. But I'm not. You know, I'm just going to be myself, and I'm going to be authentic, and I'm going to talk about stuff, you know. And that's what you can expect with my channel and me. And I cannot be bought, and I cannot be sold, and I'm just going to always be straight and authentic. And all I want to do is help. You know what I mean? That's the bottom line of all this stuff. Is I just want to help, and help myself a little bit by expressing certain videos and different ideas and the misunderstandings of this stuff, and then also help people. If I ever get a lot of money, I want to help the homeless. I want to help everybody who's American. My money's never going to go out of America, as far as I'm concerned. Now, I do have feelings where if somebody earns a bunch of money and wants to send it to Haiti, that's up to them. However, me, no. When I make money when I can volunteer time, I want to help the homeless. And there's so many people out there that are so close to homeless that they don't even realize it. That's where we stop homeless at, is the people that are almost going to be homeless, and then we help the people that are on the street. And of course, they talk about there's so many people that don't want to be helped on the street. There's some, but most of them are just like me, living in a car and working and just barely getting by. Before I was doing all this stuff, I was barely getting by with an apartment, being a truck driver, barely able to pay my bills, being a truck driver. Imagine that, right? And it wasn't like I was living in the Taj Mahal, but I'm getting sidetracked a little bit. Please bear with me. So there was a whole lot of stuff that happened, moving from that point till I was 12. My mom, and I talked about this in the traumatic childhood video, but I'm going to talk about it here. My mom, she's unable to, her car doesn't start, and this is when I was 12. Her car doesn't start, and she's sick, really bad. She's got to leave work, and that's unlike my mother. And she's calling, leaving, back then this is house phones and answering machines, leaving an answering machine message after answering machine, and decides to walk. And I don't know how far it is. I think it's around 30 miles, and she gets not even halfway and collapses and falls. An ambulance comes and gets her, if I remember correctly, it takes her to the hospital, and she's in really bad shape, and they don't know what's wrong with her. They think that's some neurological stuff going on. Just to so the story's not so long. She ended up having multiple sclerosis, and that's what she was diagnosed with, and she still has it to this day. It's not like it goes away. In fact, every year it's worse and worse. You know what I'm saying? Some days are better than others, but every year it's progressively bad and bad. You know what I mean? So she was in the hospital. I want to say about 3 or 4 days, right? I could be wrong. It could have been a week, but I never saw her. Nobody took her to the hospital. I'm barely getting bits and informations from my brother, my sister, the stuff inside the house. Like, nobody's telling me anything. I'm being treated like a mushroom, put in the dark and fed crap. Okay. So she gets home this particular day, which I think it's around 3 or 4 days later. She gets home, and I want to go see her, and I want to talk to her. I want to find out what's going on. So I'm walking through my house, and when I'm walking through my house, I bump into Mr. Toxic Dad, aka my mom's husband. And I don't know if I said it in the beginning. I'm pretty sure I did. I don't call him dad. I don't call him father. He's my mom's husband, and I wish that she never even met the guy. You know what I'm saying? This guy is horrible. Worst person I've ever met in life. More of a worst person. There's a special place in hell for him, and I believe that's exactly where he's at. So I go ahead, and I walk in the living room, and it's him and my brother, not my oldest brother, but my regular brother. And he says, what the hell are you doing? He's just snapping at me. I mean, this is very usual. This is not very uncommon. This is a very common occurrence. You could be just making a sandwich, and he goes in there and says, "What's your problem?" And then you're getting dropped. And more than dropped, spit on, thrown on, pulling out a frying pan and smacking it across your nose, your face, your teeth, very vindictive nastiness, all sorts of stuff goes on, right? But, dealing with the confines of this platform. So I walk, and he's like, "What are you doing?" And blah, blah, blah. And I was like, "I want to see Mom." And then he's like, "You're not gonna see her. You go back to your bedroom, and if you don't, I'm gonna crack you one," and all that crap, all the horse crap I ever heard in my life. That I'm surprised I'm getting a warning. I never got a warning before. It just happened 99% of the time. And he's got his belt off, and he's got the buckle hanging out. He's got this big old leather belt, and the buckle's hanging like a good little bit from his fist. He's got it wrapped up, and he's got the buckle right here. And I just remember I had enough, I had more than enough. And I said, I swear to God, I wish you would hit me in the face with that right now. Watch what happens to you. And as soon as that came out my mouth, just crack, and that freaking metal belt buckle just hits me right in the temple. Guess what? It didn't matter how. He could have literally had a shotgun and put it point blank to my head and pulled it. And guess what? Nothing would have happened to me because I was that hard, I was that tough, and I was that strong, and I had God on my side, and it didn't matter. I didn't feel like nothing. Like, yeah, he cracked me one. Yeah, cool. Good for you. Good on you, bro. Nothing does that, and now I'm ready. Never ever try to fight back in my life against him. I fought all the time in the street. Some of them I won, some of them I lost. But now, oh, it's a different ball game now. Today's the day, son. You know what I'm saying? Like David Goggins, they don't know me, son. You don't know me now, but you finna find out. And I put it on him. I hit him one time and he flew across the room. I split his eyebrow all the way, man. He had to get stitches that day. Split his eyebrow up here, split him down here, one punch. He ended up flipping out his knife, and after he came to, and my brother screamed for me to run, and I ran a little bit, and I said, you know what? No, I'm not afraid of that. And I ran back to him, and we started getting, got it on with him with a blade, man, straight up. And I'm still standing. You know what I'm saying? I do that, and of course he freaks out. Alien's crazy. What's going on? And I check on my mother, and then the very next day, because now I want to reiterate something. It was the best feeling I've ever had in my life to give that beating to him. That was the best feeling, even up to this day. For so long, you had me scared. For so long, you did so bad to me. For so long, you hurt my brother. You hurt my sister. You hurt my other brother. You hurt my mother. You made everything so horrible and nasty and disgusting. And what you did went against everything that any father or any dad should ever do. And you abused us, and you verbally abused us, and you physically did it. And you were just a nasty, disgusting son of a gun. And I'm trying to watch myself. I do want those emotions to come a little bit, because I can't just, be here smiling saying, oh, and he did this. No, I hate his ass. I'll always hate him. So, basically, to make the story not so long, about 2 days after that, the next day I did the same thing to him several times. At that point, I was just having fun, because now I can win. And all these are flawless victories. Like, I'm just letting off on him, and he's having to go to the hospital for stitches. He's going to go to the hospital for concussions. I'm jumping on his head. I'm when he's down and out. Now I'm stomping on his stuff, like mine was. Now I'm giving you exactly what you got, but now you don't want it. Now that I thought you were so hard. I thought you were Mr. Vietnam man. I thought you could put it down one time for the one time. Oh, things have changed once somebody wants to put their hands up and bang with you now. Now that you got away with it so long, because the truth is that he was just a weak old fool. You only did that stuff because you could get away with it. Nowadays, you don't get away with nothing, and I don't let anybody get away with that stuff, whether I win, lose, or draw. But at that time, it didn't matter. There was no lose and there was no draw. There was just, now you're going to feel, revenge is sweet for a reason, and it felt good, and I'm not going to lie about it, and I won't downplay it. Normally I'm a humble and chill person. No, I won't downplay that. That's what you get. That's what you get when you mess with me for that long. When you hurt my mother that way, and when I found out, the day after my 18th birthday, how I was conceived was forced, and I got to live with that for the rest of my freaking life, because you were a disgusting son of a gun. Because you did that to me. But I'm not gonna let that. I'm not gonna let that dictate my life. I'm better for it. It's not like I'm better for it. Like, I'm not gonna let that negativity ruin my reality. Because I wasn't the one who did those things. I'm the person who saved my family. I'm the one who saved my mother. So on the third day, he took a 200-pound bag of tools and threw it at my mom's head, and it barely missed her. At that point, I went ahead and let him know, after serving him up once again, that now I'm not doing that anymore. Now it's, if you don't know what that sign is, I don't know what to tell you, but that's what I was going to do. And he needed to leave the house, and you leave the house right then and there, or it's going to happen. and I don't care what you do. I don't care what you got. I know what I'm going to do. He was smart. He was smart enough to know that I was serious and left. When I was 18 years old, he was diagnosed with cancer, and he was on his deathbed, and he made calls to all my brothers and my sister and my mom, and he wanted forgiveness from everybody, and on top of all that, he wanted forgiveness with me. I wouldn't take his calls. He sent my brothers, my sister, and my mom to me. Some of my family members have Stockholm Syndrome. At least they appear to. Some of them wanted to give him that forgiveness. Some of them, had respect for him. Everybody has a different relationship. Everybody has a different experience. In my opinion, I think that they're all foolish. However, I'm not going to impose that on them, just like they're not going to impose me to talking to him. And I never talked to him, and his dying wish was for me to forgive him, and I never did. And even to this day, I don't forgive him. And that's my toxic father. And that's my toxic dad. Well, thank you so much.